One of the coolest electric cars I've ever seen. There is a few versions. There is an E-Rev version, sort of like a plug-in hybrid, but then there's 3 electric versions as well. Guys, one of the absolute coolest electric cars that I've seen for years now has been released in China. This is going to be a global car. Chery are a global car brand. And honestly, I like this thing more than probably 95% of the other all the EVs you can buy on the market right now. It starts at $13,000. It's a proper off-roading vehicle. Sort of like a Suzuki Jimny, right? But it's a bit bigger. It's about the same price. And it has insane features. It's got way more power than a Suzuki Jimny. There's all-wheel drive. There's rear-wheel drive options. There's 3 different battery pack options. This thing honestly is one of the coolest vehicles that I think the EV market, in fact, the entire car market has seen released for this entire year. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. I recently reviewed a Chery EV, and honestly, it was really, really, really good, but it had just one issue. And I think Chery say they're going to fix this with a software issue. The lane keeping was trying to drive me off the road and kill me. So it was a bit scary, but the car's handling, performance, fantastic. Better than a BYD Atto 3. I'm telling you it was. Yeah, hopefully they fix that issue. Now, the new Chery iCar 23, I think is iCar V23, has up to 500 kilometers of range and starts at $13,700 US in China. Now, this is not a big car. It's very short. It's only 4.2 meters long. But there's 2 versions. There's a longer version and a shorter version. A little bit like the Suzuki Jimny. So it's similar in that way, but it's a much, much nicer car than the Jimny. The vehicle's dimensions are 4,220 millimeters long. So it's shorter than a BYD Atto 3, but it's much more boxy, so it has more space. It's 1,915 millimeters wide and 1,845 millimeters high. Wheelbase is 2,735 millimeters, so it's got a pretty long wheelbase. You can see that gives it some interesting, really impressive departure angles. 43 degrees at the front and 41 degrees at the rear. Ground clearance is 210 millimeters, so this is definitely an off-road capable EV. It might be the first properly off-road capable EV to come to the West. On the inside, it has a 15.4-inch 2.5K central touchscreen powered by a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8155 chip. It supports Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, they say advanced driving features, etc., etc. Now, interior space is actually pretty big. If you put the rear seats up, it has 744 liters of cargo space. Not huge, but it also does have a decent trunk. Underfloor space. So under the floor, there's an additional 90 liters of space, plus it has a frunk, so some space in the front. So there's 3 different areas you can store stuff. Chery says the iCar V23 has a comprehensive suite of driver assistance systems powered by Horizon Robotics J3 chip and Texas Instruments TDA4 chip. So it's got some pretty advanced chips in it. Features include high-speed navigation, emergency lane keeping, traffic jam assistance, automatic, remote and memory parking, and the system relies on an 8 megapixel front view camera, a 3 megapixel surround view camera, 5mm wave radars, and 12 ultrasonic radars for precise operation. 3 additions. The cheapest version, the $13,000 version, it's not what I'd want. It's okay though for that price, I guess. A 100 kilowatt, 134 horsepower motor, rear wheel drive, 180 newton meters of torque. That one has a 47 kilowatt hour LFP battery. It has 301 kilometers of CLTC range, probably about 250 kilometers of range. Mid-spec, rear-wheel drive, also the same motor, 100 kilowatt, 134 horsepower, 180 newton meters of torque, and a 60 kilowatt hour LFP battery for 401 kilometers of CLTC range. There, now the all-wheel drive model, this is the one I'd be wanting. I think most people would actually. It has an additional 55 kilowatt, 74 horsepower front motor. So it has a combined power of 211 horsepower and 292 newton meters of torque, or around 155 kilowatt in total. But it comes with a much bigger 82 kilowatt hour NMC battery. So that battery provides 501 kilometers of CLTC range, probably just a bit over 400 kilometers of range, all-wheel drive, That's the car that I'd want personally. And actually, I'd love one of these. I think they're really, really cool. The all-wheel drive version does 0 to 100 in 7.5 seconds. Apparently, all trims have very fast charging. They haven't said what charging speed it is. They can charge from 30 to 80% in 30 minutes. They also have vehicle to load of 3.3 kilowatt. So you can charge stuff in the back of the vehicle. 3.3 kilowatt, if you're sitting around a campsite or you want to charge another EV or charge a bicycle or something, you can charge at a max speed of 303 kilowatt. But the actual charging for the car, I would estimate it's probably around 150 kilowatt. Not too sure yet. Overall though, what are your thoughts, guys? Let me know what you think about this EV. Are you excited about this as like I am? I think this thing's really cool. Now, as I mentioned before, there's two options. There's a longer version and then there's a two-door version as well. Will this car come to your country? I don't know, but Chery are planning on releasing this as a global vehicle model, so it very well could. Tony Seba said back in 2014 that electric cars would cost $5,000 in 2030. Well, he was referring to not just the price of cars in China, but worldwide. And yes, we're not at $5,000 yet for EVs outside of China, but we are there in China. In fact, there's many models for sale at that price in China already. However, there's actually EVs in China that are good, that cost $4,000. Here's one of them. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. It's great to see you. I know I talk about Tony Seba a lot, but he's made predictions back in 2014. He was the key reason that I actually started this YouTube channel because he inspired me. He really showed me that the world would become a better place. And that was because of science and maths, not because of our feelings and emotions. Often our feelings and emotions lead us to believe things that aren't true. Science and maths actually tells us what will really happen. And the math says that EVs that cost $4,000 in China today, by 2030, will cost about the same worldwide. So this gives you an idea of where things will be in 6 years' time from now outside of China. And honestly, it's actually pretty good. Now, really, do we all need two cars? Well, maybe. Do we all need two big cars though? Absolutely not. Some of us might. You might have heaps of kids in your family. You might have some sort of work reason you need two big cars. Most of us don't though. This would be perfect as a second car. Chery, which actually do sell cars outside of China, so they are now a global car brand. They sell cars in Australia. They are actually one of the leading Chinese automobile manufacturers, and they have unveiled two affordable small cars. One's called the Ice Cream and one's called the Little Ant.